It's a well-known fact that if you ever hear a loud rattling noise nearby, you better get out of that place as soon as possible, because there just might be a rattlesnake lurking in the grass. But does the rattlesnake really live up to its reputation as one of the most dangerous snakes? Or is it just overrated? Those fangs sure look like they'd hurt. But what are the chances that you'll actually be harmed by this creature? Let's find out, because the answer might not be what you think. First things first, let's clear something up. The rattlesnake isn't just one species, but rather a whole group of over 20 vipers that get their name because of the rattle found at the tip of their tails. This means there isn't just one species or area you have to watch out for if you want to stay away from these creatures. Isn't that nice to know? They're found in pretty much every part of the United States, but they're especially common in the Southwest. People living in Mexico, Central America, and South America are much more likely to come across a rattlesnake. Sorry, Latin America. Rattlesnakes, like all other species of reptiles, prefer to be in areas where they can bask in the sun and get warmth. They can be found pretty much anywhere from marshes, deserts, and forests, but most species prefer open, rocky areas because here they can also use their camouflage and the rocks as cover to hide from predators. You heard that right, predators. Even though rattlesnakes are venomous, and most adults are 3 to 6 feet long, with some being as long as 8 feet, it doesn't stop other animals from preying on them. Rattlesnakes aren't on the top of the food chain, and they have to watch out for birds like roadrunners, eagles, and hawks, mammals like foxes and coyotes, and even other snakes like the king snake. Even bullfrogs prey upon them. But rattlesnake predators vary from region to region, as well as the species of rattlesnakes. Most of the time, though, the creatures that feed on snakes tend to be snakes themselves. As their prey, rattlesnakes eat a variety of animals, including amphibians, other reptiles, small birds, and mammals. Most of the time, their diet consists of small rodents like mice, but they'll eat pretty much anything they can get their fangs on. Some rattlesnakes have even been documented eating baby crocodiles, as if you needed a reminder of just how brutal nature can be. But that might make you wonder, how do rattlesnakes hunt? Rattlesnakes are ambush predators. They'll hide for days, waiting for unsuspecting prey to pass by. Their camouflage allows them to completely blend in with their surroundings, and they keep their rattles quiet as they hide. Rattlesnakes don't strangle their food. They'll lash out and bite their prey, and then they let the venom do the killing for them before they use the scent of the venom to track the animal they've bitten and then feast on it. But even apart from their venom, rattlesnakes have a whole arsenal of weapons that can make them ruthless hunters. If the ambush tactic does not work out, they visit holes in the ground to look for prey, and they have a specialized mechanism to help them with that. Rattlesnakes are pit vipers, meaning their head contains a hollow spot between the eyes and nostrils called a pit. Inside these pits are special organs that allow them to detect the heat signatures of their prey. The meal will always be warmer than the surroundings, so even in complete darkness, the snakes can see their prey and strike it. They also have specialized organs that help them with their style of ambush. These specialized organs, known as Jacobson's organs, are located on the roof of the mouth and give them a heightened sense of smell that allows them to detect approaching prey. The snakes pick up particles in the air with their tongues and deposit them on the Jacobson's organs, which is why there's a myth that they smell with their tongues. After they've eaten, adult rattlesnakes are fed for about 2 weeks. They can last much longer than humans without eating. Having to eat once every 2 weeks? Wouldn't that be a dream? But what about the rattle? We've talked about all the other cool adaptations the rattlesnake has, but what is the iconic rattle used for? How does it even work? The rattle is made up of a series of scales that are loosely connected at the base. These scales are made out of keratin, the same material our fingernails are made of, and are hollow and filled with air, which is what makes them light enough to shake. The segments of the rattle might break off due to predators or just because of age, but it grows back when the snakes shed their skin. The famous rattle noise comes from the sound created when the hollow, bony, donut-like segments in the rattle bang together. Using the muscles located at the base of their tails, rattlesnakes can produce different patterns of sounds. The use of the rattle is actually twofold. Depending on the pattern of sound produced, it can be used to distract prey and communicate with other snakes. But most of the time, it's to warn off predators. If you do hear that famous rattling sound, it might mean that the rattlesnake is gearing up for defense, and you might want to get out of that place as soon as possible. You wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of those fangs after all. But while we're on the topic of being bitten by a rattlesnake, let's get to the questions everyone's been waiting for. How bad is a rattlesnake bite really? Are they actually that threatening, or are rattlesnakes just overrated? Most of the time, rattlesnakes try to avoid humans. Then again, what animal wouldn't? But even if you do get into a confrontation with one of them, these snakes are not generally aggressive creatures, which is why they almost always try to escape or hide, so be sure to stay out of their way. If they can't do that, then they'll usually give a warning with their rattle before striking. We might be afraid of being bitten, but it's important to remember that the snakes bite to defend themselves. Most of the time, people who end up getting bitten by a rattlesnake are those that have stumbled upon them completely by accident or have tried to handle the snakes themselves. Most of the time, the people bitten are men between the ages of 18 to 25 and who are intoxicated and try things like picking up the snake. Completely normal and not at all stupid behavior. And even if they do bite, they might not even release their venom. In 10% to 20% of the rattlesnake bites, the creatures do not release venom, probably because they don't see human as prey. In fact, the venom is rarely fatal to humans. It's a hemotoxin designed to kill small animals and begin the process of breaking down the flesh. Between 7,000 and 8,000 people per year are bitten by venomous snakes in the United States, but only 5 of them die each year. That's less than 1% of fatalities. You might start thinking that rattlesnakes are overrated, but that doesn't mean their bite is not a big deal. It's needless to say that if you do get bitten, it's going to hurt like hell. So the first thing you do if you get bitten is to get away from the snake as soon as possible, because it might attack again if it feels threatened. As soon as you're a safe distance away, start seeking medical assistance immediately, because the chances of rattlesnake venom becoming fatal will get a lot higher if you treat it like no big deal. After a few hours, severe and even life-threatening symptoms will start showing up. The symptoms will show up a lot faster for people who have allergic reactions to venom. The venom can cause extreme pain and swelling, as well as excessive bleeding and nausea. Swelling in the mouth and throat will make it difficult to breathe, and in severe cases, you might even collapse or go into shock. So, not the most fun thing to go through. Rattlesnakes get a bad reputation because of pop culture and because they're so common across America. But most of the time, the snakes are just living their lives and trying to stay out of harm's way. And even if you do have a nasty confrontation with one, there's usually not much to worry about. Most of the time, it's people's own dumb decisions that lead to negative consequences. Are rattlesnakes really overrated, though? The short answer? No, they're not. These snakes have some of the most unique adaptations and mechanisms of any animal in the whole world, and they're very important to the ecosystem. So maybe we should just all take a step back and just appreciate these beautiful creatures, from a safe distance away, of course.